friends, welcome back to the library. Today we are off to Paris. Paris is one of the most popular travel spots in all of the world, so we might as well visit by book. And of course, we should go with our guide, the Armadillo, as one does. So this is An Armadillo in Paris by Julie Crawlis. Some of you may remember me reading this book in years past. An Armadillo in Paris by Julie Crawlis. Arlo, the armadillo, feels it. The twitch in his left claw. The twitch that only stops when adventure begins. This is Arlo. He's an armadillo from Brazil. He loves to explore. He inherited his love of travel from his grandfather, Augustine. In fact, curiosity has run in their 9-banded family for as long as anyone can remember. When Arlo was born, Augustine wrote him a collection of journals about his favorite places in the world so that one day Arlo could use them on his own travels. Today, Arlo is reading the journal about Paris and the famous Dame de Fer, or the Iron Lady, and is getting ready to start off on his first big adventure. So here is some of Grandpa Augustine's journals. And he says, "Dearest Arlo, Paris is one of my favorite cities. I can't wait for you to explore this beautiful place overflowing with art, history, and life. You'll love it as much as I do, especially my most favorite thing in Paris, the Iron Lady. Follow the path I've laid out in this journal, and you will learn all about her, and even get to meet her. Bon voyage, Arlo." Our first destination. Once you land, make your way up to the Arc de Triomphe at the center of a dozen long streets and in the middle of one of the world's busiest traffic circles. It is the perfect introduction to the city. And there's quite a view. Watch your step. The drivers here are fast. After his long flight across the ocean, Arlo catches a ride into the center of Paris and is dropped off at the Arc de Triomphe. He is amazed. It's like being in a whirlpool of cars. There it is in our book. And many years ago, I got to take a real trip to Paris. So there is my picture of the Arc de Triomphe, and there is one of the big statues on it. All right. Café Gustave is a place in Paris that I love to eat. I come every day for breakfast when I'm there. I once met a talented architect here named Gustave who designed the Iron Lady. He's the man responsible for her worldwide fame. This is a perfect place to start your journey, Arlo. You must try the pastries. Arlo starts his day with a flaky croissant, fresh from the oven, delicious. He is excited about beginning his adventure and his search for the Iron Lady. Who could she be? Your next stop should be the Champs-Élysées. It's one of my favorite streets for strolling and window shopping. Paris is known for its fashion, and the Iron Lady is very particular about her wardrobe. She changes her color every 7 years. Arlo ambles down the street alongside Parisians and tourists. He pauses to admire a beautiful gown in the window. Could this be the color that the Iron Lady wears? And the Champs-Élysées is a beautiful street, and here is a picture of me many, many years ago walking down the Champs-Élysées. It's okay if I don't quite look the same anymore. All right, then you must visit a patisserie while you're in Paris. It's a French bakery with all sorts of pastries and sweets. Arlo, I love all sweets, but my favorite is definitely the macaron. They look like buttons. They're spotted and swirled and stacked little sandwich buttons. They're beautiful. And they're all over the shop. The Iron Lady loves buttons and has a very big collection of her own. Arlo gazes in wonder at all of the macaroons in the shop. He can hardly believe how many colors and flavors there are. How will he choose just one? He hopes he will get to see the Iron Lady's button collection. It must be quite a sight. Next up is a world-famous museum, the Louvre. Before you go in, stop and look at the pyramid in the courtyard. It's surrounded by pools of water that reflect it and the ever-changing sky. The Iron Lady is so tall that sometimes she seems to dance in the clouds. Arlo perches on the edge of a pool. His face is reflected against the sky. It must be wonderful to be so tall. Maybe when he meets the Iron Lady, he will get to dance in the clouds too. And this is Arlo sitting at the edge of the pool. And here you can see the same pool. It's right over here somewhere. I think I have it. Oh. One of the kids asked me if I was so old that the pictures only were in black and white. I'm not that old, but I took all of these pictures in black and white. So there I am sitting at the Louvre, and you can see that same pool, and you see the pyramid that's reflected. Here in our picture, it's reflected in the water, so it's turned upside down. So that's how it really is. There you go. All right. Inside the Louvre, you will find many amazing works of art. You'll also find the 1889 World's Fair exhibit. The Iron Lady was the world's first fair official greeter, and it was the first time that the whole world and Paris got to meet her. Arlo explores the rooms filled with historic art and even the famous Mona Lisa. Do you remember talking about the Mona Lisa in Miss Weatherly's art class? If you don't remember yet, I'm sure you're going to meet her soon. At the 1889 World's Fairs, posters and photographs show a very different time. Arlo wishes he could have been there to meet the Mona Lisa and the Iron Lady. And you should definitely stop at one of the many bridges that crosses the River Seine that runs through Paris. They are a great place for people watching. They're one of the Iron Lady's favorite things to do. Arlo takes a little break on the Pont Neuf to rest his feet. He watches the boats passing underneath and the people strolling along. There's so much to see. No wonder the Iron Lady enjoys people watching. That can be good fun, and you could do that anywhere where there's people. While the Iron Lady may be the leading lady in Paris, she has many famous old friends that she sees every day. Make sure you greet them. They have lots of stories to tell. Arlo visits the Iron Lady's friends, and he sees some wonderful things. A church that looks like a wedding cake. It's called Sacre Coeur, or Sacred Heart. And then there's a very famous church that has grouchy gargoyles. Right there, you probably have heard of that one. That's Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, where the Hunchback of Notre Dame story takes place. And then there's a beautiful glowing collection of stained glass windows. I hear Miss Weatherly is doing some stained glass art. All right, there is that, and that's the Chartres Cathedral. Now, she has an interesting collection of friends. Next, we'll head to the Rive Gauche, or the left bank. Paris has been home to artists and writers and poets and philosophers and readers for decades. We'll visit a bookstore and browse our favorite section, history. You won't believe all the amazing events that the Iron Lady has seen. Arlo meanders through the bookstore. The books are piled to the ceiling and crammed into every corner. What a cozy place. A little bit like our library. We've got lots of books crammed in here. He flips through the books, and the history of Paris comes alive. The Iron Lady has seen many interesting things. Then we want to take a walk along the banks of the Seine and take in all of the art. Paris is a city that's filled with artists. Arlo's grandfather, Augustine, learned to paint here, and the Iron Lady loves art too. She's had her portrait painted many, many times. Arlo admires some of the beautiful pictures and decides he will follow in the Iron Lady's footsteps and have his own portrait painted. It will be a great souvenir to take home. But be sure to visit the Jardin de Luxembourg, or the Luxembourg Gardens. It's my favorite park. There's light on the pond that shimmers like 1,000 diamonds. The Iron Lady dazzles like diamonds too when she's lit up at night. Arlo wanders through the park and joins the fun. He's mesmerized by the dancing light in the pond. The Iron Lady must be stunning to stand out amongst so much beauty. Arlo visits a street market for food and for a picnic. He gets enough for two. He hopes to share with the Iron Lady once he finds her. You're almost there, Arlo, says the journey. Make your way to the northwest end of the Champ de Mars and stop at the Avenue Gustave Eiffel and look up. Voila. Did you know what it would be? It's the Iron Lady, also known as the Eiffel Tower or La Tour d'Eiffel. She is the most magnificent tower that Arlo has ever seen. He walks over and he makes her acquaintance, and just like his grandfather, Arlo knows that this is the start of a lifelong friendship with the Iron Lady and with Paris. And there she is. And I also got to meet the Iron Lady in Paris all those years ago. And here are my own pictures. Thank you for coming on the journey with me, and thanks for looking at my old pictures. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bon voyage.